What is up, everyone? It is Luke McGuire here. I'm just going to make myself the presenter here real quick, just for a minute. Sorry, whoever I grabbed the screen up. I just want to share this with you guys. Hopefully, you can see my screen. Good to see you all here today. First and foremost, I appreciate you all being here on this webinar. I know I could only give you guys about 48 hours notice for this one, but I promise you it is going to be one of those type of trainings that you would never have seen anything like it before, because it's really to do with a space where the world is going. AI is taking over, and what you can do, like literally right now, and by the end of this webinar, you'll be amazed that this is even possible. I know when anyone sees even a fraction of what you're going to see today, people think that it's something that's from the movies or something like that wouldn't be available for another 10, 20 years, or just as something that's a wish for many people in the future, right? But more on that in a minute. What I wanted to share here with you guys is that you can see here, I've got this little Twitter up here about how this couple got broken into. And this couple was me and Bella, which was pretty wild. So it was basically 2 nights ago. I think they've added the footage in here. 2 nights ago, it was strange. My partner said, I just don't feel right tonight. I just don't want to go to sleep yet. And I said, oh, okay, I'll stay up with you. And it was weird because we normally go to sleep pretty early, never past midnight. And then this night we're up till about 3:30 or 4 a.m. I don't know why. But it happened to be that at about 4 a.m., I had all my cameras in my house go off. And then all of a sudden we had these guys on my back deck, this guy here, shirtless balaclava on, this other guy over here, gloves, hoodie, and everything, somehow broke into my house, and you can see it in the front yard. They've jumped the fence, and they just don't care. Like they know there's cameras, they know there's like I got bigger floodlights that light them up, and then I heard them inside my house. They like crowbarred the door or something. I don't know how they got in, um, but this was not this morning that's just passed. It's morning here in Australia now. About 24 hours ago, just over 24 hours ago is when it happened. And then, so I heard them in the house and I went to run down at them. By the way, in Australia, I'm sure most people know guns are illegal. So no one has guns here. So if someone breaks into your house, it's like you either don't know if they've got a knife or they're just going to want to have a punch on with you and fight. It's just one of those things. And you either have to completely just call the police, which takes forever usually as well, or scream at them. But my partner was scared as hell. But I did scream at them and they ended up running off. So that was actually good in the end. But we don't think they've got anything. My whole downstairs in my house right now is covered in all that fingerprint dust, all the tables and everything outside. There we are, having a little interview outside. So that was yesterday morning. Then the news crew somehow, I don't know how they found out about it, but they rocked up and then wanted to do interviews and stuff. And then we had the forensics and we had like all these different people coming through the house yesterday. It was really, I don't know why they chose us, because this happens all the time, right? And none of us were injured or anything. It might have been a slow day with the news, but it was definitely a really, just a really sad experience because, you know, you think you move somewhere nice and you think you're safe, but then there's these kids that just don't care about cameras. They don't care about any consequences. And in Australia, if you're under 18 and you break into someone's house, you basically just get a slap on the wrist and you're back out on the street again. So it's been an interesting 48 hours, but we are here now. I've only just got some sleep the past couple of hours. Besides that, it was 2 days prior. So if there was the odd spelling mistake in my email, I do apologize for that. But today's going to be a lot of fun, and I'm so excited for you being here today. So the kind of whole principle of today, as I said, is to talk about AI. So what I wanted to do, and to make this not only just the most fun, but the most, I guess, the most value-packed webinar that you could be a part of related to AI, and specifically turning your imagination into text and having your text be then turned into imagery, uh, training that you could ever be a part of. It's essentially a way you can get rid of your graphic designer and you can create so much content, uh, essentially content for life that you can use for Instagram posts, for social media updates, for social media ads, for paid traffic ads, for brand imagery for different products. You can basically, as creative as your imagination can get, is is the limit to what you can create. And naturally, you could probably use your family's imaginations as well if you ever got stuck, right? But the beauty of it is it's instant. There's no waiting for designers. There's no them building their ideas of what it is you're saying. It's the ability to get quick, fast artwork or content pieces made, uh, and it goes a lot further than that. So what I wanted to do was bring in the biggest expert in the field, and I can't believe it's taken me this long to get this man on a webinar with me. That's totally my fault, but we've done it here today, and I'm excited to be doing it more because he is probably one of, if not the biggest vendor and biggest known JV partner in the world, and his name is Mr. Todd. Todd, if you are here, Todd Gross and his whole team, he's put together a training for you guys that I'm so excited for you guys to see, and especially today because this is the last day that I think we'll be sharing this specific training to the world. So I had to make sure I got it in. That's why it was such a last minute thing. But you guys being here today is a huge value add. I'm going to give away a couple of $100 later today as well. But Todd, if you are here, my friend, please jump in. And if everyone here in the chat box can welcome Todd, that would be awesome. I appreciate you so much, Todd, for doing this with me.
Yes, I'm here. Thank you, Luke. It's so good that you're okay. We were
Thank
concerned, I have to tell you, yesterday when we first heard about this, we weren't sure, if you were going to be able to recover from that very quickly. And, being a good friend, we didn't want anything to, bring you down for a length of time. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you. No,
Yeah,
of
and you can
course.
hand the screen back to me whenever.
Yeah, I'll
But
do that now.
it's so good to hear that you're doing okay. You do sound a little bit tired, though, I have to say. Yeah,
I am tired. It's only just gone 6 a.m. here as well. And then so last night was our first night we've slept since that's happened, right? And we didn't know how that was going to go. So we were kind of trying to stay up to make sure they weren't coming back for like round two, because the news article said that we made them run away, and they ran away from the house. So we were just thinking, what if they had a bit of a ego to them and they wanted to come back to make a point?
right,
Um,
right, right. Like they
so
can't
we
chase us away, but no.
Yeah, so we didn't sleep very well last night either. So I've just woken up. You'll probably see by the end of the webinar, or after we go through some of this and I jump back in and do some talking on different things with you, that my voice will actually have woken up a lot. But I only woke up maybe 20 minutes ago. But I wanted to make sure um, we got this done today because it is such a key part of where the industry is going, and it's basically one of those things. It's either you learn to stay with what the industry is doing or be ahead of the industry, and if you really want your best chances of getting success, or you can get left behind very quickly. And the market is changing fast. We've seen trends come and go so many times, but I can see this not just being a trend, but this being something that people do full time, uh, and it's the core way people produce content ongoing, because it's just insane what you can do. So everyone here today, make sure you're engaging. I will be giving $100 to someone random here today who is the most engaging. I'll be watching in the chat. I'll be here the entire time as always, and I will be keeping an eye on everything. So Todd, please take it away, my friend.
Thank you so much, Luke. And this will wake you up, if nothing else, because the presentation you're about to see is absolutely mind-boggling. Hey, thank you, everyone, for the hellos. Shane and Tony and Mike and Nicholas and Danny and Robin and all the others that are saying hi. I appreciate it. First things first, if you could just let me know if I am loud and clear in terms of my microphone. One of the webinars I did last week, I was too low, and I want to make sure that I'm clear and coming through. Okay, great. And do me a favor, just out of curiosity, if you know who I am from prior, if you're familiar with me, put a 1 in the chat box. If you're not familiar with me, put a 2 in the chat box. Okay, so it's about 70% who know who I am. So just briefly, basically, I am a guy that worked in television. So I was doing the weather on TV actually. And then I moved into internet marketing around 2006. And what I did is I started establishing a lot of video oriented things. First, video interviews, the kind of thing that's very commonplace today. I started establishing that. I brought helped to bring green screen and video squeeze pages to the internet marketing world and things like that. And I've always been in that visual sort of category when it comes to internet marketing. Not totally, some affiliate marketing and stuff like that, but whenever something was becoming a trend and starting to take over, I pounced on it and I told everybody about it. And that's what's happening right now. The rage in the past 2 quarters of this past year has absolutely been the move towards AI bringing text to image to life. In other words, whatever comes from your brain, you could actually translate into an image. Now, anytime you have a question during this webinar, feel free to ask. We have a team of people that will help to answer your questions. And every once in a while, of course, I'll be looking up and I'll be seeing what you're asking as well, especially later in the webinar. Now, all 85 images that you're going to see in the next few minutes were created with our new AI text to image system. And if you have some familiarity with this, if you've already dabbled a little bit in this with some of the resources that are out there, there's a big difference in our system in that we give you something that is completely unlimited. But I'm getting ahead of myself because that's not even part of the agenda I wanted to talk about at first. Let me tell you exactly what is on our agenda today. First thing I'm going to do is show you amazing AI that can generate images literally from your own brain. I'm going to show you also 4 great tricks, whether you use our system or someone else's, to achieving the very best results, to get the images to come out exactly like you want. I'm going to show you how to avoid the high costs that other services may be charging. And I'm going to explain how to use and sell your images. In other words, something I don't usually dabble too much in. I'm going to give you some really good ideas on how to make money with this, in addition to saving you money because you'll have unlimited content. Also on the agenda today, I'm going to demonstrate our synthesis visual generator. That's what I'm referring to when I'm saying our system. I'm going to explain how you can craft text prompts properly for best results. Now, what a prompt is the text that you write to get the image to come out. And you could use the info that I give you today anywhere when it comes to AI. So you definitely want to pay attention to that. I'm also going to demonstrate the powerful image editing and face swap features that we have. That is going to become much more clear as we get into it. And I do have a complete 25-minute demo that's just 10 minutes away now that you're going to love. And I'm going to reveal something really unusual. We have what's called a reverse image to text prompt generator. In other words, not only can you create images from text prompts, but we'll also show you how you could create the text from any image that you go and grab anywhere on the net. And I'll show you why that's a valuable tool to have. And finally, I'm going to present an offer to you that can't be beat, that will unlock unlimited usage to a limited number of charter members of our system for Luke's crowd. Now, a lot of you are probably wondering, I keep using the word prompt. You're saying, what exactly is a prompt? Well, as I hinted at a little bit earlier, it's the text itself that you come up with from your brain, and then you type into the slot. And you'll see it looks like literally a slot, and then it becomes an image. So on the right-hand side, for instance, you see an image of like astronauts, and it looks like they're on something like Mars or some sort of hot planet, and there's like little beings next to them. That came because we wrote a space explorer meeting an alien family on a red hot planet. So that's an example of a prompt and the image that would come out from the prompt. Oh, by the way, we have some exciting, exciting beta testers that have already delved into the system. Kevin, for instance, says your commitment and constant improvements are second to none. And from what I have experienced, never before seen in online software. Delphine said, I'm so excited. This will likely be the best software release of the year. My library is already so huge. As I said, Delphine is a beta tester, and she's just brimming to the rim here, or rimming to the whatever it is, with tons and tons of images already. And Pablo says none of them are as good as the Synthesis products. I have seen and tested others, but all the products from Synthesis outshine them all. And this very special one came in yesterday. Paul K said this in our Facebook group. A shout out to Oliver Goodwin, Todd Gross, and all the people behind the scenes for offering such a fantastic piece of software, Synthesis Visual. I don't think I've ever enjoyed any software as much as I have this one. Amazing. I own all types of software, including video and graphic ones, but really, this is my favorite. Thank you for all your efforts. By the way, tonight I noticed a super increase in rendering speed. Fantastic. We'll be talking about that increase in just a moment. Here's another example of a prompt. This, I was trying to recreate my Jeep Wrangler, and sure enough, there it is. A black Jeep Wrangler on a beach riding into a lake is what I wrote, and this is one of the 4 images that popped out, and I like this one the most, so I'm showing it to you, and it looks just like my black Jeep Wrangler. All right, so let's begin, and what I'd like to do is just have you sit back for a moment and think about the things that you could create with a system like this. Now, I see you guys are getting excited. Mike says, oh my God, yes. And Tony, you have an excellent voice for weather. Thanks. Yeah, I did that for years. And Colleen said, sounds interesting. Tony, cool. Kyer, sorry, can't wait to see it. All right, here's what we've got. Think about for just a moment the idea that you could actually get captivating images virtually any size you want for blog posts, ebooks, for videos, for podcasts. What if you could get images for websites, for landing pages, advertising creatives that are eye catching and stand out without having to go looking for them, mock ups for branding and campaigns, and something new that you guys have been telling us to focus on, and that's kids' books and coloring books that you could sell online since there's such a big demand for those. And what if you don't have to spend hours looking for the perfect image or spending money on illustrators, or spending time creating visuals and thumbnails for videos, or spending time on conceptualizing the logos and brand collateral? No spending time searching for the assets for the blogs, the websites, the ads, or worrying about the copyrights and royalties and the subsequent banned accounts. What if you didn't have to worry about all that? That's what we're talking about today. I want you to meet the mascot that I actually made with our system. I call him SV. SV stands for, of course, Synthesis Visual. And I was trying to figure out if I could get, kind of a character that could embody this whole idea of being creative and then having an image pop out of your brain. So the first thing that came to my mind was Figment of the Imagination, which is a Disney character, by the way. And it's some on again, off again, retired Disney character. And I tried to create a similar character, and I said, this is too reminiscent of that Figment, but we're dealing with AI. Why don't I have the system actually come out with a robot? So I wrote a smiling, smart looking robot with glasses and no background. And poof, there popped out SV. So I got my mascot. So he's kind of our ambassador for today. Let me just back up for a second before we delve into this amazing demonstration. What is AI in the first place? If you had to actually say what artificial intelligence is, what would you guys come up with as a definition? Because I came up with my own definition after looking up the official one. What would you kind of come up with a definition for it? Okay, I see some comments like uh, computer generation. Not exactly. I'm looking for something a little beyond that. A little beyond artificial intelligence or an assistant. That's a good one, though. The idea of an assistant, because an assistant would have to, of course, have an idea of what a human would do. Computer mimics human thinking, Tony says. Reasoning resembling ours, Mike says. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking for. Basically, a robot or an android, but without a body. Thinks like a human. Can be more intelligent, though, and have more background data and skills to work with than a normal human being. And that's why we're always being so cautioned about where we're going with the AI movement in the future, because they're smarter than the rest of us, the AI. But yes, that's exactly right. Now, what is AI art? Well, AI art is kind of amazing. It creates scenes as an artist would. But again, remember what I said a moment ago? We have enormous talent, finesse, and background information beyond what man can recall here because of the additional data that it can store and that it can consider and the faster thinking. So, this, for instance, was created by AI by somebody that researched for several weeks what prompt or what text to put in to produce a piece of art of this quality. And this person actually won first place at the Colorado State Fair just a month and a half ago. It was quite an uproar at the time. And the reason it was an uproar is simply because artists were not happy that they could be replaced by machines. Now, this, on the other hand, was produced by one of my partners, Paul Akonde, and Paul became very well versed very quickly in putting those prompts together, the text together. And he wanted to, again, create something that was like art. And he was able to do this rather quickly on our system. Again, that's to show you how art can be created. Now, it also does regular images as well, photographic type images, but I just wanted to show you the art and where this is headed. But what specifically is text to image? Well, text to image is just what we've been talking about with those prompts. That is the idea of just writing what you are thinking in enough detail with these so-called prompts to produce amazing images of all genre, including photorealistic images that are 100% unique to you. Now, when I say prompts like that, again, this is really key because you're prompting the AI to create a certain output. And that's where the word is coming from. You are prompting it to do something. And with that, I'd like to introduce you to our own system that does this. That's Synthesis Visual. I'm going to give you a couple more examples before we hit the demonstration. Here's an example of, quote, an epic battle scene between two mythical dragons, creatures, is what Paul wrote, in open space of blue mountains. And that was the result. This one is interesting because it's a photorealistic image. That is the one on the right. The one on the left is a Picasso. The one on the right is a photorealistic portrait of a cute Latina girl, 11 years old, with a round shaped head, with flower headband, studio lighting, side view. Now, before you get intimidated by the length of that prompt, I will tell you that we have a 2-hour training session that we're going to actually give you as a bonus if you purchase from us later in this webinar that goes over how to write detailed prompts. But we also have something in the software itself that aids you in doing it. So you don't even have to think about it if you don't want to. So what makes our system different when it comes to this AI? Well, first of all, as you'll hear me talk about a lot today, there's no credits, there's no time limits. you basically will be able to create unlimited visual generations. That's really important, and I'll be talking about why. Also, we have optimized image generation. This is a version not found elsewhere, and all the future updates are included. We have the synthesis editing and face swap features to create even more image types than you would get with AI normally. And I'll show you that in my demo as well. And it's also fast. I wrote approximately 15-second rendering time. Well, we started about a month ago on this when we first came out of beta, and we started to very slowly open it up to charter membership. We were at about 50 seconds. Now it's down to about 15 seconds. So it just keeps getting faster and faster, our servers. And of course, that is something that's really good because you get more images more quickly. And then there's the face enhancement for human portraits, just a little checkbox, and you can get the faces looking even better than usual. And we have a commercial license included. You could sell these things. Many of these systems that you may have tried or may not, you can't sell the images. You can't do anything with the images other than play with them. And that's just a few images too. This, we include a commercial license. And we also have an image upscale for high definition, ultra high def. They come out between 2K and 4K images. In other words, between 2,000 and 4,000 pixels wide. And that's easy to do. It takes just a few seconds to get your big image out of it. Like this one. This one is, I believe, a 4K image. If you take this and put it on a big monitor, you'll see it's just a beautiful image. Okay, are you guys ready for the demo? This demo is intense, it's mind-blowing, and it's right on the inside of the system. But if you have any questions first, let me know, or do you want to shoot straight into the demo? All right, you guys look like you're ready. All right, just waiting a second to see if there's any other questions before we jump in. Okay, you are ready. So I'm going to just bring in my demo over here. What I'm going to do, just to make sure that it goes right, I'm going to bring in this window and I'm going to play it with the audio from the speaker right into the microphone. It usually comes out a little clearer that way. If you lose audio for some strange reason, just check your settings on your GoToWebinar panel to make sure that the audio is set correctly, because sometimes it flips sources when I do this. But here we are. I'm going to just put the microphone here, turn the volume up, and hit play. Okay, so here we are with a demonstration of Synthesis Visual, which has to be the most fun piece of software you've ever owned. If for nothing else, just for the fun of it, this is going to be a blast and your favorite piece of software, because whatever is in your brain, poof, you make an image out of it. So for instance, we go into Synthesis Visual right here. If you have other products in the Synthesis family of products, they may be showing up on this screen, but you just click on this, or you could go to the Synthesis Visual menu on the top. Again, this may look a little different because I'm in the admin account right now, and I have everything in there. But Synthesis Visual, this menu tab right there, is what we will be dealing with. And the most important thing is the Imagine. So you do Synthesis Visual, you click on Imagine, and then boom, you are in and ready to make your masterpiece. Now you start on the left-hand side of this bar that you're looking at right here, and you have a choice. Now this is very artwork oriented. So in other words, you don't have to limit it to photographs. You can also make all kinds of things like steampunk, nature, fantasy, anime, even sci-fi, tarot cards. You could get all different kinds of things out of this software, including like busts of people's heads. I'll show you that later. We'll have fun with it. But right now, let's just do a general description, something really simple, and we won't concentrate too hard on the composition of what we call prompts. Prompts are the text that you put in and you prompt the software to actually spit out a result. So in this case, let's start with something really easy. So we'll do black Jeep, because I have a black Jeep Wrangler, and I'm going to write riding along the surface of the moon. And then we'll just click visualize. We won't deal with these two little buttons here yet. I'll show you those later. Let's just click visualize. And after a few seconds, usually it's only going to take 10 or 20 seconds, then boom, you're going to have an image based on what you put in. And there we go. We have 4 images to start, but you could keep hitting visualize until you get something that you like. And once you do get something that you like for instance, this one right here, I particularly like that one better. You could click on it. You could save it to the gallery. You could download it to your computer. You can upscale it, which means you could make it large. You could make it between 2 and 4K large, as a matter of fact. Very, very high resolution image. And the other thing that you could do is you could also put it in here. Now, you see this little box right here where it says upload? You could do several things in that box. But the first thing, the most basic thing you could do is you could take the image from down here. See this where it says create variations? You could click that, create variations, and get a little image of it right into there. And actually, now you could visualize it again, and you'll get things that are varied but more similar to that last image. So let's try that again. Okay, now if you look closely, these are all very similar images, but they have subtle differences. This one, the moon has a little bit of an atmosphere, and there is no mountains in the background. This one all the way on the right has mountains in the background, also a little bit of an atmosphere. This one has no atmosphere, and it just has some waviness in the background. So that's what I mean as an example. Now, there's something else that we can do with this little square right here. And I'll show you more about that later, because now we could take this off and we could actually upload an image if we wanted in there. But let me go to the next example first before I play more with that and before I go to the magic wand, which is over there. The next thing is, let's put a young Latina girl with a flowered headband. Again, we're keeping it rather simple here. Okay, so in this case, I'm looking at it and I like the one on the right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to save that to the gallery, but then the others, the eyes I'm not thrilled with, so I'm going to click visualize again and shoot for some more where more of the headband shows up. Now, please note that you have unlimited credits. We decided to price this just right so that we'd be able to give you an unlimited amount of usage of this so that you could keep trying over and over again until you get images that you're satisfied with. And as you could see, there's some good ones that are popping out here, some that aren't as good, some that are. So in this case, for instance, I kind of like this one, still not enough headband, so I just click visualize again, and I'll try one more time. Okay, this time I got a result that I like. It's this one right here, the second one. This is what I was shooting for. So I could download the image. I could actually add it to here like I showed you before with this little icon right there. And then we could do similar images to this. Or I could actually click save to gallery. So I'm going to save it to the gallery and I'm all set with that. Let's take it one step farther. All right, now I'm getting more descriptive. In this case, I kept it as a photograph. I wrote a cat sitting on a beach in a storm looking at the mountains. Even though I wrote photo, notice it tries to bend towards artwork sometimes. And we want to kind of change that. We also want to change the color of the cat because I didn't specify the color of the cat. So if I go to upload right here, that little square once again, I love that square because you could change your images that way. I'm going to the desktop and I'm going to look for a cat. This is actually a cat image I found online because it's a calico cat. And now that I have the calico cat in there, I'm going to try to change the actual coloring of the cat. So I'm going to visualize that again and try to hone in more on what I'm looking for in terms of the color of the cat without actually having to write orange and black and white. I could do that and it would work, but sometimes a picture is worth 1,000 words, and that's going to help to mold the final result in the direction that I want. Okay, and as you can see, now our cat has more proper coloring based on what we fed in. Not all of them came out with the new coloring that I was looking for, but we have at least one that we could work with. and we could base further images off of this. Or we could continue to hone it in with more descriptions, like I could put a calico cat right there sitting on a beach in a storm looking at the mountains, and it will give me a different kind of result. And there you can see how we've changed the coloring of all the cats just by putting a calico cat in to our description at the top. All right, now I want to move on to something very interesting, and that is serving the various niches. For instance, if you were to just write a lawyer in a courtroom, it's not very descriptive. We didn't describe what his age is. We didn't describe what color hair he has, what color eyes, if he's holding anything. So it's going to do its best by taking a look at other lawyers from the past in terms of its database. And it's going to just conjure up its best guess as to what we want. Now I'm going to show you how to hone in on the things that we want with our magic wand. And I also will tell you that we have training that Paula Conde and I did that's 2 hours long that explains exactly how to actually structure those prompts. Now, I didn't say if it was a male attorney or female attorney. On the right-hand side, we have a female attorney. I could use that. And if I was to use that one and let's say put that one in that little box there and then take variations, we'd get more female attorneys by visualizing again until we hone in on something that we like. So now we have a variation on the different lawyers, all female, based on what we put in the box. You could also click on Enhance Face and you will get an even more detailed facial features in some of these, and that's because our own software, our other software such as Face Swap that we've sold previously, had those features built in. We're actually able to get higher resolution faces. So if you do have people, it doesn't hurt. In fact, it's probably always a good idea to click on this where it says Enhance Face. And yes, indeed, Enhance Face is included with this software. Everything I'm showing you is included. The next thing I wanted to show you was this feature right here, the magic wand, as I call it, which basically helps you create prompts, sophisticated ones, without having to remember too much. For instance, the way a prompt should be worded is the subject first, then the type of art that it is, perhaps the artist that would have actually done it, and then various descriptors such as the setting, perhaps what the color of the hair is, what the person is holding, that sort of thing. But if you actually click on this right here, it helps you with that. For instance, the first thing here is image object. So we could say, let's do bowl of fruit sitting on a table. And the artist, in this case, let's do I wonder what Andy Warhol would do with that. Let's do someone that might do some fruit. I don't think Picasso would do fruit. Let's pick somebody I have no idea who they are. Roy Lichtenstein. And the art style. Do we want pop art, abstract? I guess abstract expressionism is what I'm looking for. Next, for illustration, let's see. Why don't we do something fun like a coloring book or something? Let me see what we have here. Watercolor, pencil sketch, comic book art. That sounds good. Then the lighting, we could do something like cinematic, colorful in this case. And camera doesn't really apply, but we could have done on a realistic photograph, we could have done like a telephoto shot or a drone shot, low angle, high angle, Dutch angle, which I knew what it was a week ago and I forgot already, that kind of thing. But let's just leave it as, well, I guess we could actually do it from a low angle in this case, okay? And we're going to use this and now visualize, and let's see what we come up with. Wow, that's crazy. There's the artwork right there. And we produced that, and of course, we could visualize it again if we're not satisfied with anything that's come out. But that's based, this artwork is based on what we put in with our magic wand. Now, one thing you can do is you could click on these images like this, And then you have choices of what to do. You could save it to the gallery, you could download it, or you can upscale it. If you do upscale it, it will make a very large picture out of it. It comes out between 2 and 4K, as I mentioned before, depending on what was input into it. The next thing I want to show you is that you have a choice here to download your image as well, or you could save it to the gallery, or as I showed you before, this middle icon is going to put it up in the box over here so you could create variations. But in this case, what I want to do is I want to save it to the gallery. Then I want to go to the gallery by clicking on Synthesis Visual, scrolling down to Gallery, and then I want to take one of these images and I want to show you more about what you can do with them. So let's take the attorney, for instance. All right, so that's our attorney from before. She's working hard, and we have a choice to do several different things. We could change the background. Depending on how elaborate the background is, we could actually remove the background and put something else in. It isolated her pretty well. Now what we could do is we could just upload one of the standard backgrounds that we have, or better than, or we'll put one of those standard backgrounds in just by clicking on it. Or better yet, what we could do is we could even upload our own image or take from our own image uploads like we have right here. And when we can include that as the background. By the way, you could save this. You could render and save that right there. Let's go back to our gallery. We're going to pick that image again. This time I wanted to point out you could upscale it, as I mentioned before. You could download it. You could change the background. The one other kind of quirky feature that you could do with your image is you could actually do what we call face swap. But what it does is allow you to do a simple blend with another face. So let's say this face is the wrong ethnicity. And even though you could just go back and you could write the correct ethnicity, let's just say you, for fun, you want to just mix another face with it. Well, if you click on this, the face swap option, then you'll be able to do just that. You'll be able to go in, it immediately identifies the face, and then you can pick one of the faces from the database, like this one I used before, so it's showing up right off the bat. And I can click on that, or I could click on, all right, let's just choose that one. So we're going to take these two faces and blend them together, and this face will actually change a little bit towards this one. So let's do that. We're going to click on Change Face. And here's the result. As you can see, we have changed the ethnicity, and we have actually clarified the face somewhat with that built-in enhancement feature that works automatically when you do a face swap. So there it is. We didn't even have to go back into the software and change the ethnicity. We were able to do it by picking somebody that we wanted to change the look towards. Now, Synthesis Visual has other dynamite features that are so much fun to play with. For instance, there's this. It's the Edit Image feature. Now, that allows you to actually take any image you want. In this case, I'm going to take a sculpture of actual Obama sculpture, and I'm going to change the head, and I'm going to change it with Donald Trump's head. Now, how am I going to do that? Well, I just go to Restore right here. That's on the right. And I just am going to restore this portion of his head. I want to try to draw this as carefully as I can because I don't want to mess up Donald Trump's face when I draw it out. I want it to be as clean as possible. So I want to get the ears as best I can off. And there, we've got the hair coming off now, and this ear, and his chin, and that should just about do it. I think I've got just about the whole face. And now what we're going to do is put in the prompt, or in other words, the text, Donald Trump, or head of Donald Trump, head of Donald Trump. And that should replace the head of Obama. And this is our new piece of art. Now you get different variations of it every time you try it. For instance, earlier, let me see if I have it here. I got this variation, which is slightly different. And you could keep trying until there's something that you like. The next fun feature that I'm going to show you has some similarities to Edit Image, but now it's the third thing down on the menu, and it's called Remove AI Object. we could just drag any old image we want from anywhere on the web. And we could, of course, use ones that were produced already by our software, by Synthesis Visual. But in this case, what I want to do is go to my desktop, and I have an image that I tried this on earlier, and it worked so well, I wanted to show it to you. There it is. There's a boy playing with a shovel, a pail and shovel, and off to the right here, you'll notice there's an object. Looks like a little rake in the sand. I want to just kind of highlight that rake and get it out of there so that it's just sand. So I highlighted it. Now I'm letting go of my cursor. I'm letting go of my mouse. As soon as I let go, it starts to go to work. And now it has just replaced that with the sand. So as you can see, it actually got rid of that object. And you could do that for other things as well. The next thing I'm going to show you is mind-blowing, and it's unique to Synthesis Visual. It's actually producing prompts from images. So let's say you're on the web and you're impressed with a certain image. We'll go back to this one in just a moment. Let's actually take a different one for now, and I'll go back to this one. We're going to do this image to prompt. This is kind of like reverse phone lookup. We're going to grab the image first, and that's going to produce a prompt. All right, so let's pick this image right here. All right, so you can't really see that, but you will in a second. The image is of a castle. I actually saw this on iStock. I was very impressed with it. I didn't purchase it. I'm not going to use the image. I'm not going to publish the image. No one's going to see that image from iStock, but I want to know how that image was produced in terms of the prompt if I was to try to recreate it, because I like the scene of a castle with mountains in the background and a snow-covered landscape. So let's see what it says. It says, a castle in the mountains covered in snow, stock photo, detailed matte painting by Werner Tubke. Okay, now we're going to copy that to the keyboard, to the clipboard. And now let's go back to Synthesis Visual and imagine that same photo. But this time we're going to use that prompt that it generated. All right, and we're going to visualize it. And we will not get anything that could possibly be cited for copyright infringement, because it's just the idea that was captured here in the prompt. It's not the image itself, it's the idea of the image. Just as if it came from your brain, it's coming from the AI's brain thinking, hey, that photo kind of looks like this. I'm going to try to recreate that image now from scratch. Totally unique. And you'll see it will look significantly different. It won't look at all like the original, but it will have the same players. It will have the castle. It will have the snow-covered mountains, as you could see. It has the same evergreen type things in the front on many of these. You know, this is amazing that this can do this, that you can take an image and have those features captured and then recreate the image like this. And if you don't like these, I'm going to save this one right here to the gallery. If you don't like these, all you have to do is go and then do the prompt again. I mean, like for instance, I just clicked on this one and I said I'm going to save that to the gallery. I could also take this very image right here. I could click on the create variations. Remember what that does? That puts it up in the box right over here. And now I could visualize it again. And now look what we have. We have variations on that same original, and now we have a choice. And they're all based on the same prompt, but we've kind of honed in on what we want to see. And now we have something else that we could choose from. All right, so now I've saved the best for last. Let's say you are actually browsing across the web and you see someone else's fantastic creation that they've produced with software that, of course, is text to image, whether it's our software or somebody else's. Well, let's do that again. Let's go to image to prompt. Let's browse for an image. I already gave you a little sneak preview of this. This is actually an artwork winner. This piece of art actually won in Colorado for the best piece of art in this particular art show. And it's still unclear to me, even after reading about this, whether it was fully disclosed ahead of time that this was not produced by a human being, but produced by AI. And it created this big uproar because artists are not happy that they could get replaced by AI. But let's say you're scrolling around the web, all right, and you see a picture like this and you say, gee, I want synthesis visual to produce something with some of these same elements. Well, I just uploaded that into our reverse generator, right? Remember what I did? I did synthesis visual image to prompt. And now I have a prompt right here, a group of people standing in front of a giant circle, a detailed matte painting by Arthur Pan, CG Society, fantasy art, reimagined by industrial light and magic, matte painting, cinematic lighting. It has derived all that from the original that was already produced by somebody else's imagination and what he wrote. Now, we could take that prompt by copying it to the clipboard, and we're going to go over to Imagine, and we're going to actually post that right back in. And you will see when I click on Visualize that we won't get quite that image at all, but we will get something that perhaps is going to be quite creative, let's put it that way, quite imaginative, quite interesting, and quite artistic. Oh man, I am so excited. I've tried several times now, and what I've done is I've gotten some great images. I'll show you them. First of all, this is what I just got by putting that prompt in here and clicking on visualize. I got this one I like a lot. Let me click on it. You can take a look. As you can see, far different from the original, but still very artistic and sci-fi. This one as well. And if you think that we're kind of like stuck on one look here, we're not. And I'll show you as I go to Synthesis Visuals Gallery, I will show you some of the other things that this same prompt came up with, like this. All right, now, is that crazy or what? I mean, it's not the same as the original, but very artistic, coming up with a real true piece of art that is very, very unusual. Once again, it came up with this. I did two earlier today. Let's take a look at those. This one I was very impressed with. And this one. Again, all coming from a group of people standing in front of a giant circle, and then it talks about being a matte painting by Arthur Pan and fantasy art, etc., etc. Hey, if it's in your imagination, you could create it. This scene you're seeing right here, that's from my head, something that I actually saw live in person when I woke up at a campground in 1975. It even got the 1970 Plymouth Fury correct. I hope you enjoyed this demonstration of the inside of Synthesis Visual. There's even more stuff in there, like the sketch feature, and there's more coming, which I'm not even allowed to talk about right now. I can't wait to see some of your creations. All right. I could tell. I could tell that you liked that from your comments. Thank you. And thanks for all the great questions you're asking. Yeah, there's some really good questions. Um, like you've really honed in on something that I'm going to get to involving the human faces. The actual output is not to the point yet of perfection, because remember I said how things are changing very rapidly over the course of the last quarter of a year to half a year. And we are incorporating all the newest technology as it becomes available. And what happens when you request celebrities, like you absolutely uh, pointed out here. I think it was Tony that pointed this out. Sometimes it will try to blend the two celebrities' faces together, and sometimes it will show both celebrities standing side by side with each other. It really depends. It doesn't. It's because I haven't perfected the prompt on it. I don't know exactly how to, put the prompt in to get more than one individual not to always blend. Sometimes they actually blend together. So that was a really good question you asked, Tony. And Tony's giving us an applause. Mike says, wow. Kia says, wow, freaking cool. I love how different the images are. And here's some of the popular art mediums that we were touching on the inside. We're looking at things like digital illustration. This one in the middle here is graphite pencil. There's graffiti over here. Digital portrait is on the bottom left, and digital photography on the upper right. Those are just some examples that I wanted to show you, because we were like touching on those on the inside, but we didn't actually display what each one would look like. And that's what you have right here. Okay, so I want to do some training with you guys because, you're all excited about this technology, but I have some really good training to give you There are 4 ways to unlock the most from your imagination on this. In my opinion, there's 4 ways, and I may even go back into the system and show you some of this as I go through it. And you know what we're going to do later? We're actually going to have you guys come up with some prompts and we'll put them in and see how they fare. All right, so the 4 ways, number 1 is obviously to use the detailed prompt to get the results specifically to your liking. You could try using a formula like this or the one that we have included in the magic wands. That is the main image description, then the style or the artist, then the mood, and then the modifiers. Examples of that, like the image style could be painting. That would be already a select button on the left. And then the main image description, we could write woman talking on the phone. We could put that right in. Then the next thing we could write for the image mood, we could write smiling and laughing. The image modifier could be mid-afternoon lighting. The image art reference could be Claude Monet. Now, I did touch upon this in the actual demo just a moment ago, but I wanted to show you how these specific words could be put together to get this image. So, woman talking on the phone, painting, it's a painting, smiling and laughing, mid-afternoon lighting, Claude Monet. And that's what actually was output, even though she's kind of on a cell phone, which is really funny. The second thing to do, other than to get your image, your prompts correctly, is because we have the system where you could actually put a photo into the software. And let me just remind you where that is. It keeps, when I move my mouse, it keeps doing that. I'm trying to get this other screen in here. So right here, remember the place where you could upload a photo on the right in there? That acts very much as a way to create a certain kind of composition. Now, I showed you how to use that with the cat, and I'll show that cat again in a moment, as a matter of fact, in the slides. But you could also affect your composition with it quite a bit, as I believe I showed as well. So, for instance, we have this here is a photo that we uploaded into the software, and then we put ocean liner on, on top of the ocean, whatever, ocean liner in the ocean. And then because it had this to begin with, it knew the composition, the general composition that we were looking for. So that's the second way that you could really direct it towards the kind of result that you are looking for. So if you were to find a generic photo of the ocean, but it didn't have an ocean liner on it, well, you could put an ocean liner on it, just like that. So that's the second way. The number 1 is to create the right prompts. Number 2 is with our software, you can actually put an image in to help with the composition. But the third way is to make use of the unlimited renderings, because you could do this over and over again. Every time you press visualize, you get new results. And that is very important. You will have so much fun with this piece of software that you will burn through. If you ever got on a credited system or a system where you only had a certain amount of time, you will burn through that without even thinking about it. Because as soon as you get a good result, you'll say, okay, I'm going to save this result. Now let me see if I could get an even better result or a different result. And you'll try again. You'll just keep trying because it's just too much fun. So that's the third way, is to just keep running it over and over again. The fourth way is, of course, to use that reverse image to text prompt. Now, that's where you may stumble on an image that somebody else made. That's exactly what I did at the end of that demo, where I took that piece of art and then I wanted to figure out what kind of prompt that would generate it. And then I took that same prompt and then I put it back into the system. And then I got a whole bunch of crazy things with people looking at the circle. That's the fourth way, is to use the reverse image to text prompt generator and then take your prompts that you are getting from images you're finding and then creating new images from them. Now, this means that you could also go out and get something that you find on a stock image site. Since you're not actually using it for anything you're going to show, you could even take the free image that has the watermark on it. You don't even have to purchase it if it's a paid site. You could just then put it into the system just to get ideas, see what kind of prompt comes out, and then use that prompt, and you'll have a brand new image that has totally copyright free. But all of this is just for fun unless we show you some of the ways that you could use it, right? Otherwise, it's just like a toy. So the first thing is, obviously, it is a toy. You can explore your own imagination and produce crazy results like this on the left, or the dolphin, the mini dolphin on the right, correct? Or I had fun creating the robot on the left. I wrote robot riding a skateboard on Mars, and it really accurately depicted Mars because there's so much information on Mars right now from the spaceships that we've sent there. And that is exactly what Mars looks like. And then on the right, I played with the Game of Thrones series there, but I didn't produce a photorealistic image. Intentionally, I made it more of a cartoony style, a fantasy style, and that was Daenerys, of course, feeding her dragon. So that was interesting too. So that's one way to do it, is to just play with it and have fun and create images and do whatever you want with the images as they come. But let's get a little more specific on what you could do with all these crazy images that you churn out with our system. You can create images to sell to hungry buyers. There's buyers looking for imaging all over the place on Fiverr, on Upwork, etc. And you can produce them like this. There's images, of course, that you could use now in your videos. That's what we've been doing. Remember, you have horizontal, vertical, or square, and that will make sense in your videos. And, video is something that I've been um, on the, forefront of for all these years now. And one of the problems we've always had is when we make videos, we have to then go look for the right image that's exactly what we're looking for. And sometimes that takes quite a bit of time, and then you have to settle. You don't have to settle on an image that's not exactly right. Here's just an example of generic images that I might use in a video. Then, of course, for your blogs and articles, endless content in all those sizes. Very similar to what I just showed above, but here's an example of you may have a fashion blog, or perhaps on the bottom left, you have a guinea pig blog or a bunny blog on the bottom right. And this came up earlier. You guys were asking about Disney characters. On one of our webinars, somebody suggested we write Disney Princess age 12. It gets the age correct pretty darn well. I mean, to like plus or minus a year. It's really uncanny how well the AI knows how to age human beings. So Disney Princess age 12 came out almost perfect, if not perfect. That's what a Disney princess would look like, but somehow she got young. And of course, you could create your stock image collection. This is what Luke was talking about earlier. You can have gobs and gobs of images. We give you unlimited, which means you could just create images and produce your own stock image site and sell them. Never mind some of these stock image sites that, exist now. The problem with a free site like Pixabay is that their images are limited. When you go and you pick something specific that you want, usually you end up having to settle or go to a paid site, and the paid sites advertise on Pixabay and that sort of thing. So you could create your own stock image collection to sell with this software. And here's an example of stock images that I can imagine selling in such a situation. Beautiful fall foliage. I just had put, autumn, boat on lake in autumn to create that. And then the next way is to develop prompts that can be sold in the growing prompt marketplaces. Now, we will be producing a prompt marketplace ourselves, and a place to sell images to both other customers and those on the outside, but also to sell the prompts. Now, if you don't think prompts are sellable, there's already prompt marketplaces where they sell for $1 to $7 each. All right. And here's the good reason for it. Because when you run across an image like the one on the right, which Paul Akonde, my partner in crime here, he produced, Well, look at what he wrote. He wrote a digital illustration of a necromancer in a desert during a sandstorm, trending on ArtStation, Photoshop CS5, photorealistic dramatic lighting. That prompt itself has value because it produced the image on the right. So that's another thing that you can actually do to make money with these endless image creations of yours. You could even develop NFT collections. Now, NFTs are likely to come back in a big way because right now there's a lag in the market of all crypto stuff. NFTs are, of course, bound to the blockchain, and therefore, you create an NFT collection, it would be unique to you, and then that's how you would then go ahead and sell it in the NFT marketplaces. So what if you did that? What if you produced a group of images and you said, okay, here's my NFT collection, and you sold it on the NFT sites like OpenSea? Create kids' books and coloring books. This is the one that has gained most popularity with our users in the last few weeks because they're realizing how easy it is to do. And we actually have been writing down the correct prompts to produce the coloring books like this. We're able to do this. I did this on the upper left, and then we had I think Delphine did the one on the right. She's in our beta test group, and if anybody's interested in how to produce the prompts so that you can get coloring books out of it, we have the prompts to do it. You would just write to us. You can write to my email, as a matter of fact, my business email, yourgreenscreenguy@gmail.com. I'll put that in the chat so that you can inquire, since I didn't write the specific prompt that produced this in this slideshow. But you could also create images for the various niches. What do I mean by that? Let's say you work with local businesses and they need images. Well, you could produce the images for them. A lawn care company could have, well, lawn images, right? Beautiful green lawn, lawn care and trimming. Here's one for an interior design company. Interior design is on the top there, and then interior decoration of a beautiful modern living room. Here's another example of this is a beauty salon one. And of course, it goes without saying, because you've been watching it, you could create webinars and PowerPoints like what you're watching right now. You're watching it right now. You're seeing all these images captivating you. It's not just the idea of creating them, the images themselves are captivating. Great for a talk on stage, as an example. I have a talk in Vegas in November. We're trying to get Luke out there too. And, you know, obviously in your presentation, the images could be exactly what you want. And of course, you avoid the royalties and you never pay for stock images this way, right? That's the most obvious way to save money anyway. So I've showed you how to save money and how to make money with these images. But there is a problem. All that trial and error, it burns through the credit and time-based systems fast, fast, fast. You need unlimited. Unlimited is urgent. The solution, an unlimited offer for a select group of people so that we don't burn out our server. And on the other hand, you can just keep going and using this unlimited. To minimize the server load, it would have to be restricted to a limited group of charter members. And that's what we're going to do for you today. That's exactly what we're going to do. For 500 lucky charter members, we are going to produce unlimited images together, my friends. Unlimited image generation for 500 of you. Now, we had opened up a few weeks ago to 300. Those slots sold out immediately, and then there was a wait list. But then we were able to get a new server that was faster with the rendering time, and we opened it up to 500 more members. Here's how we're doing it. And this is really sneaky of us because we're able to have like the win-win-win situation going. You get 5 hours per month on our very fast server that runs at about 15-second generation. Uh, that's around 900 to 1,000 images. About that, figure 1,000 images takes 15 seconds, maybe 20 on a bad day. All right, 15 seconds. You get 1,000 images, and then after that, just so that we're not burning the whole system down, you get unlimited image generations on our slightly slower server thereafter, which takes maybe 30 seconds or a little more. Okay, subject to fair use. You know, on TikTok, when you're scrolling around TikTok and you're playing with it, after an hour or so, they come on and they say, "Hey, you may want to just relax for a few minutes." We may do that if you're on 24 hours a day, day and night, night and day. But otherwise, no, it's unlimited when we kick you back to our slower server. And we're only going to do that after your first 1,000 images. So, you know, you're going to be unlimited in terms of the numbers that you create. There's even more, though. Remember, we're including the high quality mode. We're also doing that magic wand and category choices so that you don't have to necessarily think about the prompts. We have that enhanced face mode that only we can have because we previously did the face swap product, so we produced the technology for it, so it makes the face even clearer. Then we can change the faces with the face swap feature, so we could really hone in on an age group that we want or change an ethnicity just the way we want by picking another face. You guys were asking about that. We can change the age with face swap. Absolutely. We do it all the time. It's one of the more fun things about it. And you have the choice between the horizontal, vertical, and square images. You could upscale those all the way to 2K images. You have the upload image option. You could upload images from anywhere to help you craft your ID even more. I just showed you that. You know how you upload it and you help force the composition of the subject? And we also include those editing tools where you could change the background. You could swap it out. You could change part of an image, like we took Obama's head and changed it to Trump. We could remove an object, like when I took the boy's shovel away and replaced it with just sand. And we have that reverse image to prompt generator, which is huge because you get the prompts from images that you get from anywhere. So even if you take an image in and the image has the watermark on it from a stock image site, you don't have to buy that image. You could just bring it in to get some ideas, right? You could just produce the prompts from that image and then create a real image for yourself that's completely unique. And then we have the Facebook group membership. I don't think I told you about that, where we're going back and forth, exchanging ideas. And we have that 2 hours of recorded training with me and Paula Conde, where we show you a lot of things, such as the inside of the system again, but we also show you how to produce those prompts, the long ones. I'll show you again some examples. You know, the upload feature that we spoke of, remember how we did the Calico Cat? By uploading an image of a cat with calico-like features, and then that helped change our composition. Or here's the magic wand feature. You know what I did here? I just went in and I chose straight from the list, the drop-down list. I chose kangaroo standing in a room. I wrote that in. And then I chose Picasso. I checked on that. I checked on oil painting and I checked on surrealism. And this is what I got. And here's the example of the edit image option, where I was able to erase and reinvent a portion of the image. That it was actually the other way around. It was Obama to Trump, not Trump to Obama. And you know what? We recently did this one. Oliver did this one. Oliver's, you know, the main creator behind the system. And you know what he did here? He took the cat's head and then he just replaced it with Mel Gibson's head. So the original image and original photo was that entire composition on the left. The only thing he changed was what was drawn, and that's on the right. And of course, it also includes that sketch tool where it completely blows away, you know, my sketching abilities and replaces it with something that looks pretty good, like this cat on the right, which, you know, was way better than my cat on the left. That's a really good cat, by the way, for me on the left. And here's another example. I had drawn a teddy bear in one of the webinars, and it was like ridiculously bad. But when I sketched it out and then put teddy bear in the box, this is how it interpreted my drawing. Great stuff, right? And we're releasing some new features too. The prompt and image marketplace to buy and sell prompts and images, like I mentioned, and outpainting. Outpainting is where you start with a small image that you get from anywhere, including from within our system. And then you have the software imagine what the scenery would be on the outskirts of that image. And then it prints out a larger overall image, or one that has much more. It's sort of like looking through binoculars. When you look through binoculars, let's say at a lake, and you look at somebody on a raft, you just see the raft and the person. But now we leave it to the AI to imagine what's outside of that raft in person. There's a lake, there's trees, there's other things, and that is how outpainting works. And we are also coming up with an optional feature that is going to blow you away, but I'm not allowed to talk about it. That's not helpful, right? It's a secret personalization option that I can't reveal specifically, but I'm kind of giving it away enough when I say it's personalization in the software. I'll let you think about that. Think about the celebrities and then think about what I'm getting at. I do have an exclusive webinar offer for you today that will allow you to get in the system and be one of those 500 charter members. Are you ready? Are you ready to see it, or do you have some burning question first that I should answer before we do? Colleen wants to know. Tony says, where's the buy button? Hubert wants to know if we get automatic updates. Yes. Yes, yes. Cloud-based improvements. Yes. Are you guys ready? Yes, you're ready. Danny is ready. How much do you think something like this would and should cost? Nope, it's only $297 a year. Boom. $297 a year, not $1,000, not 500, just $297 a year. If you go there now and get in with this charter membership, the price will never be lower. $297 a year at toddgross.net/presents/SV Luke. Now, there is a wait list if you get shut out, but I'm guarantee you won't get shut out if you do this today. We have enough slots. You'll see we have enough slots in there today. toddgross.net/presents/SV Luke. You'll want to jump on this and get in and be one of our charter members and get involved with the community on Facebook, and we'll produce these crazy images together. And as we talk right now, I'm going to take more examples from you guys and we'll have more fun with the system. We'll take a look at more of the output that it's produced. But I know a lot of you have places to go and people to see, and I didn't want to hold this over too long. We're almost at an hour and 20 minutes in or so. So I wanted to make sure that you got the chance to get in. toddgross.net/presents/SV Luke. Yeah, it's $297 per year. I'm sorry if I gave you the wrong impression. And this is not a long fun. There is no fun. Everything that I mentioned to you, Hubert, everything I mentioned is included. The only thing that you'll run into is a little checkbox. If you want, instead of 1,000 images, but you want 3,000 images on the fastest server, you have a little checkbox where you could choose a little monthly upgrade there. But other than that, no, all those features I showed you are the bundle. I want to just be clear about that. Everything that I showed you is the bundle, because bundled into the deal are the category choices and magic wand to style your creation, the enhanced face mode, that's included, the integral face swap feature, that's all bundled into the deal. Also includes the choice of the horizontal, vertical, and square images. Also includes the image upscale to 2K. We also include that upload image option, which allows you to kind of create the scenery ahead of time. Imagine if you don't have to worry about finding images and they're going to come from your brain like that. This is just a fantastic deal. It also includes the editing tools to change the background, to change part of an image, to remove an object in the image. It includes the reverse image to prompt generator that I've been showing you since the demo. It includes the Facebook group membership, that 2 hours of recorded training to get the long prompts. I'll show you an example of long prompts coming up in a minute. And the new features that we're releasing that I just talked about, the outpainting and the marketplace, and that secret one. That secret one isn't included, no, but I wanted to tell you about that. toddgross.net/presents/SV Luke. Now, this was made using the image upload feature. Again, if you're wondering what those features are, we uploaded that image on the left, and it correctly figured out we were kind of going for a Medusa look, and that's what it came up on the right. Here's the face swap feature. The woman on the left, pure Caucasian, she's more of a mix on the right after we merged her face. If you have questions, we have a support at flipcast.freshdesk.com address for you to go to. And I'll show you that again in a minute. Don't worry. But right now, I promised you that we would look at some of the harder prompts, some of the more elaborate prompts, and we're going to be doing that in just a second. I'm also going to be looking at your questions, and we're going to be having some fun with this. We're going to be taking some of your comments and sticking them into the system. toddgross.net/presents/SV Luke, $297 a year, but there's none of this one-time offer thing, OTO1, OTO2, OTO3. There's nothing like that. It's just one big bundled, great, low-priced offer here. All right, here's the example of a more complex prompt. A fancy high-rise cityscape skyline, at night, glowing lights, photorealistic, professional, tall buildings on the horizon. I like the jewelry one. Where'd that go? There it is. Pretty, fancy, high quality jewelry, professional photo, shining, shiny, glistening, valuable. Even did jewelry. All right, I'm going to check your questions right now and remind you that it is toddgross.net/presents/SV Luke to be one of our 500 charter members. And, you know, our team is doing such a great job of answering your specific questions inside the question answer box that there is not much left. You guys are great. You guys are doing a great job and you're asking some great questions. No, there's no upsells, Colleen, beyond the 297. The only upsell is not really an upsell. It's just if you want to be on the faster server longer. The one, you know, because right now you have 5 hours or about 1,000 images on the fast server, and then you get kicked back a little bit to 30 seconds to a minute for each image generation. If you want to be on there for longer, for 15 hours, I believe it is, instead of 5 hours, so in other words, about 3,000 images, then there's a little checkbox for that. But other than that, no, this is just all included at the 297 a year. Yeah. Absolutely. Everything is all included. All right, here's another one. Renaissance painting portrait of beautiful middle-aged queen wearing a crown and jewels sitting in soft light posing. That came out interesting too. It's all at toddgross.net/presents/SV Luke. All right. We've been having some fun today with this. If you guys want me to ask something specific to put in there, you know, the results vary widely, and sometimes we have to hone in on the results that you're looking for with those methods that I told you. So I don't know if we'll have time to do that in detail, but sometimes right off the bat, they come out really crazy good. So just type something in that you'd like to see perhaps, and we'll see what we can get output. The thousand, that's a really good question. Yeah, that's a really good question, Colleen, about the 1,000 image, the faster images. Is that per year? Or I'm going to let Luann and Oliver take a stab at that so I don't botch that answer up.
Sorry, I was talking and I was muted. It's actually on the faster server. So you either have 5 hours on the faster server
But
and then
what she's
go to the
asking is how,
slower server.
when does that expire? Is that
There's no expiration. It's your faster time is what you're paying for. So it's per month.
per
Per
month?
month. If you use the regular, it's 5 hours per month on the faster, and then go to the slower. If you want the additional, it's 15 hours per month on the
Okay,
faster
that's the
server.
question, is per month, not per year. She was asking if it's
Right.
per year. No, it's
Yeah,
per month.
per month. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, Tony, if you are in the UK, it is mandatory that we collect the tax on this. So sorry about that.
Per month, Colleen, yeah. And Tony is in. Raffle tickets falling in snow and windy blizzard. That's a tough one for it. I've never put anything like that in there. Oh my goodness. Raffle tickets falling like snow in windy blizzard. And I guess we'll do photo out of that. We could have used the magic wand, but let's just try it. We used to not have that bar that runs for the 15 seconds or so. It used to actually just go and then you wouldn't know how long it was going to take. But yeah, you see how each image is different? The first, second, and third don't really make sense, but the fourth one does. We have the raffle tickets falling like snow in the blizzard. And you know, that's how it was depicting it. Now we could put another image in there to help that along, but it's starting to get the right idea right there. It knew what you were getting at. Isn't that crazy? Zenaida is asking, can I upload 2 or more of my images and prompt a merge? I'm not sure if you're talking about in Face Swap or you're talking about in here. You can only upload 1 image at a time on the upper right here. So for instance, if I was to upload an image, it's a little hard for you to see, but I put in a sugar maple with other sugar maples in the background, how one tree is leaning over. And then there's a lake and there's more maples in the background. In this case, if I was to write autumn scene with sugar maples, it may just do that. It may take another leaning tree. because the first tree that we uploaded was leaning. Now, this is an AI on top of an AI, so I'm not sure if it will react the same as if I had taken a photo from a stock image site. You see what it did? It didn't see the lake in there. I didn't write lake this time, and it didn't see the lake in the original. So there's no lake in the output, but it's doing the same thing with having a yellow sugar maple in the foreground and orange sugar maple type trees in the rear. And it's done it with 4 variations. Now we could take this, we could save it to the gallery, or we could upscale it on the spot. We could also upscale it from the gallery. And then you'll see, how this image is quite good. The upscaling also takes about that same amount of time, just coincidentally, it takes about 15 seconds or a little more. All right, and it downloaded it. So it's on my other screen. I'm going to bring it over. It wants me to exit here first. Okay. Yeah, it's nice. And if we went into that magic box, what we could do is we could have this come out in all different styles. We could have gone in here and then chose an artist, particular artist style. Like we could have done a pop art on that one. Sugar maple tree, pop art, wide shot. And visualize. Okay, Colleen is in. I see what you're saying, Colleen. My niche is opera singers. Opera singer wanting to have an image of herself on a specific stage theater. Yeah, so you'll have for a specific opera singer that isn't in the database now, you'll have to wait for that personalization option that I haven't fully revealed. Yeah, I did a good job with this. With the wide shot, I did wide shot, sugar maple trees, pop art, but then I didn't do, let's say, painting or fantasy. That would be cool. Or I could do sci-fi or anime. Let's do a fantasy, or even creepy for Halloween. Try that. Oh, Hubert, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, you picked that option to get the faster server all the time. That's great. Or the 15 hours. Yeah, that'll give you 3,000 images a month at the fast speed. So that's great. You'll really be able to hit this. You just be on it all the time. That's really fun. Fiverr site to sell a few images to help cover the cost. Yeah, definitely. Ah, now the creepy started to look creepy. Yeah, the tree is falling over. Yeah, that is creepy. The trees are sideways in the foreground now. Now it knew because we put in. All right, so it's if we take out that original photo, it'll look even creepier. So that original photo is trying to get it to look a certain way. So it's holding back a little bit on the creepiness because it knows that it isn't creepy in there. So if we take that out and visualize that again, we'll probably have a creepier result. Let's see what we get. So a great question came through, which was answered. If you try the fast speed, the one where you have that longer, you have 3,000 images per month at the fastest speed, and you're not quite reaching that number per month, you can cancel that option later. Yes. Yeah, I'd say this is creepier. Yeah, it even knew to put it in like black and white. See, it wouldn't do black and white before. You're really seeing how the composition works. It wouldn't force an image to black and white before, even though we wrote creepy, because we put a colored image in the composition box over there. But since I wrote sugar maple trees in the style of pop art, it realized that sugar maple trees turn orange in the fall, so it gave us the orange on the left and on the third image, and then it gave us a mixture of them of summer and fall trees on the second image here. But the angle that it shot was specifically, first of all, I put wide angle in there, but it also shot from low looking up to give us a creepier sort of look. So that's just, an example of how to kind of force it in one direction or another. Yeah, Tony's worried about being on there all the time. I don't blame you because we have been getting lost in this. It's kind of like being on a social media site that you can't get off of. It is it is an issue. Black and white cartoon character with talking blurb. So we haven't been able to figure out the talking blurb. It doesn't do well yet with actual writing. It doesn't. It's sort of like languages. It doesn't like to write numbers or letters yet. It will in coming months. But we do have black and white cartoon characters are quite possible. In fact, if we go into my gallery, I think you'll see some of them. I did this of Prince Andrew. I wrote in the style of a coloring book page, black and white photo of Prince Harry. All right, now this one in particular, I want you to write down on a piece of paper, okay? Because this came from Delphine, I believe, and she figured out what we should write. All right, let's take a look at this one. Children's coloring page templates, clean, simple line art of horses standing in front of barn, no color, no background, well composed coloring book pages. If you could just jot that down, I'll leave it up for a moment. It's a little hard for you to see on your monitor, so I'll read it again. I can't copy it.
I posted it in the chat.
Really? Wow.
Yes.
Thank you, Luann.
You're welcome.
That's how to produce black and white. And then for cartoons, if you scroll down, you'll see I was able to start honing in on a Snoopy by my own drawing. I sketched what kind of looked like a Snoopy, and it was terrible. And then I started honing in on it, and I was getting closer and closer. And again, I have a little problem with this in that you probably will run into a copyright issue with something like that. So with celebrities, it's a gray area. If you do a celebrity and you show a celebrity, you don't want to show the celebrity doing something specific that may be offensive that could run you into trouble. I'm not a lawyer. Obviously, this is a gray area and I'm not a lawyer, but I will say that something like Snoopy, I bet will get you into trouble if you do create a Snoopy situation and then try to sell it rather than just use it. But I wanted to see if it could be done. I produced this bunny off of a very poor drawing of a bunny that I was sketching. And I used the sketch to produce this bunny as well. Again, all this is a vast improvement on a bunny that I was drawing. It was bad. It was so bad that I'm going to show it to you. I'm going to show you how badly I draw bunnies. Let me see if I could find my synthesis account here. Here we go. Synthesis visual. All right, bunny. And then I'll use the sketch. Remember how to do the sketch? You click on the upload and then draw a sketch rather than upload an image. So I wasn't sure how to draw a bunny. So I think big ears. This is sort of the same as my bear, as a matter of fact. Then let me think. I saw a bunny the other day. It had a fluffy tail, really big fluffy tail. Okay, this is about as good as a bunny as I'm going to draw. So then I'll use this image. And because I put bunny in, it knows the character to try to come up with based on my drawing. You still have to put something to help it. It won't just guess from your drawing what it should be. It wants some input. Now I could write bunny running, or I could actually have a sideways bunny so it looked like it was running. Now in this case, it's like, you see how it varies? Like this is terrible on the left, and it's like it didn't know what kind of art to use, so it just created crazy bunny. And this is, has weird tails all over the place, and this one's not complete. But then we're starting to get to what we want on the one on the right. So we would save this, save to gallery. And then what we could do is we could actually use that feature right here, the middle feature, which takes this and we'll put it in here. So now there's a far improved pair of bunnies in there, and I could visualize that again, and it will start honing in on what I'm looking for. And the other thing, of course, that you could do is you could remove objects that you don't want that it's coming up with. See, now the bunny is improving quite a bit. Look at the one on the left now. Save that to the gallery. And you remember how to get rid of that if you want, right? Now that we've saved it to the gallery and downloaded it, what we could do is we'll go back to synthesis visual, remove AI object. We'll drag in that image that we saved. And now we'll take this and just color over it. And as soon as we're done coloring, that should disappear. So now we have the bunny without the flowers in the foreground. And since I don't like this tail, we'll get rid of that. And then we could now take this image, save it, and then after saving it, go back to Imagine. Now we could upload it here, and now we're getting closer and closer to what we'd like. Happy bunny. And then we could get variations of that. It doesn't take long, Colleen, to get the hang of it. At what you do at first will run almost instantly. You'll have the hang of it, but then in terms of getting the prompts more elaborate, it's a lot of trial and error, and it's also that 2-hour training session from me and Paula Conde to play with. Because right now, what you have when you click on that magic wand, you have image object, so you put an object in, and then the artist, you could put any artist or you could choose from a list of artists. You don't necessarily have to do that. You could pick the art style if you want to go for an art, an artwork, an illustration style. And we showed you earlier how those, are different. And then you could play with the lighting and the camera, but these things are optional. But you could hit that right away. The training that we show you on the 2-hour training that you get is how to craft the prompts more elaborate, and those require a little more study. But it doesn't take, it's fun and it's not like work. It takes hardly any time. You saw how quickly I was able to get this bunny to kind of like hone in on what I was looking at. What I started with, of course, was a stick figure drawing, and then I ended up with this over here, which I'm going to save to the gallery. It's pretty cool, right? All right, any more questions? And I want to remind you what we're doing here today, of course, is this is the link to go to toddgross.net/presents/SV Luke for the most fun piece of software you've ever owned and most useful because you'll have images up the kazoo. If you do have support questions going along, jot this down, support@flipcast.freshdesk.com. That's for anything technical or specific. And then my email address, I want to make sure we put that in there. Yeah, it's at the top. At 5:15, we put my email address in, yourgreenscreenguy@gmail.com. That's my email address if you have any questions for me.
I just added both of those to the chat too.
Thank you, Luann. Luann, I'm going to rest my voice for a second. If you could just take it from here, and if Luke, if you're around, you could say hi to Luann. She's going to answer some questions and man the ship while I go get a glass of water.
Yeah, for sure, of course. And hi, Luann. Good to see you here as
Hey,
well.
Luke.
And hey, Todd, go get that drink. You deserve it. I'm sure uh, you've been doing I'm sure you've all been doing back-to-back webinars today, and I know how exhausting that can be on the body and on the voice, and especially at the end of a big launch week, it can be very, very demanding. So I do appreciate you both and the rest of your amazing team here being here today. One quick thing I wanted just to say is, guys, like you can see the power of not just like where the basics of AI that we covered the other week, but how far things are going so fast. And this is one thing that I love about Todd and Todd's team is that they really do uh, move with the times. They're very fast onto the trigger with what is working now. And that is one of the biggest things with anything online is that if you can get in on opportunities when they're brand new, you have such a benefit over so many others because what works now is not always going to be what works right now. Things evolve, things change, but this is something here that is just going to be getting better and better and better. I actually watched a whole 2-hour YouTube video the other week on basically from a developer on how AI imagery works, and it's just the most intense. Like it's intense, but like really really cool if you're a nerd like me. How it actually learns and grows, and it's actually you can actually look at it in a quite a creepy way, or also quite an amazing way. But what the guys have done here and girls have done here, the team's done here, is just built out such a cool piece of software, and a very unique opportunity to be able to be in that first to market type audience, and in this. And again, I always say this: internet marketing is about removing the roadblocks, and automating as much as you can, so that you don't need to be learning so many different tasks, right? It can be very, very overwhelming to learn so many different tasks. I remember when I first started, and again, this was like, it wasn't even that long ago, maybe 7, 8 years ago. Um, but it was when I made my first sale online. I remember that I learned everything from how to do basic coding for websites to how to use Photoshop, and then how to use like all these different tools, and try to become somewhat sufficient at everything, but not very good at any of these one things, I guess. And now you get these, now you have the ability to have tools that literally just do what you tell them to. I would have just laughed if anyone had have told me back like 6, 7 years ago that if that one day I'd be able to just type into a box what it is I want, and then something called AI would just build it, right? But that's where we are at. That's where we're at now. Also, again, Todd and Todd's team are renowned in the industry for being one of, if not the best. So there goes my alarm. One of, if not the best teams in the whole industry. They have created such a professional package where they really do care about the customers, and they really are there to help you along the way and the journey going forward. So I think this is just a killer offer. Again, the way it's presented, the way they remove any of the sticking points that you can often find in offers where you need to buy all these different upgrades and all these different things to get the initial thing to work. That doesn't happen here. It's so transparent. It's all about giving you everything for the best value possible, and they've been in this space in different products for some time, and to get this to where it is now, it's just it's been a really cool evolution to watch. And while I haven't shared some of the other products, it's been really cool to see how they've brought some of these key features from the other ones into this one here as well. And I have no doubt this is going to become a market-leading tool in this industry. Luana, if there's anything you want to say, please go for it. Sorry for jumping in there. I just was yeah, I learned a lot in this webinar too, so I was just excited to say that.
Thank you, Luke. We really appreciate those words, very much so. And I'm just following along with the questions, and I think we've caught up with everything so far. And we still have a number of people on. If anybody else has any other questions, please write them into the question box.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. Well, Todd's back. There you are. I
Yeah.
was just saying, I don't know if you heard it. How's your voice going after all of these
Yeah,
webinars?
I just put on some tea. So I just am
Yeah.
boiling a pot of water. But yeah, I heard what you said. Thank you so much. Yeah, and we are, of course, changing. We have been at the forefront, Oliver and myself, with our synthesis line of products, have been at the forefront of the AI stuff. So we have other things that we've been, and that are in there that we've been working on. And as this industry changes, as it becomes more and more advanced, we'll just adopt the new advances into our system so that everybody gets advanced along with it.
Yeah, and I love that as well. And that's another thing I think everyone should note as well. There's not many people that you see that actually do that, that really bring their customers along that journey with them, and um, make it just so friction free for them. I know a lot of you guys are a part of my advert suite product, and I know I upgraded everyone from the first launch for free into the next version. Sometimes sometimes that it'll be out of my hands to the point where I can't hit the cost of doing that sometimes. But if whenever I can do that, I will always upgrade you guys for free into things. And if not, I always ensure you guys get the best deals possible. I know Todd does that as well. They're all about getting you guys results. And again, you guys also know I really don't promote many offers really at all. I know I'm good at creating ideas, but then when it comes to looking at products and going, okay, that's going to really fit in with what you guys are doing. Um, that's where I sometimes think, well, this might take us a bit off journey, but this is the type of product that will really help anyone in any niche, no matter if you're doing e-com, local marketing, affiliate marketing. It really doesn't matter what area you're in. This is something that's going to help add value to your bottom line. I love how insanely creative you can get with this, because again, as you guys would have seen in my last email, marketing is just about being creative and being that person that's different and that stands out compared to the rest. And this is the way you can really create show-stopping content, um, uh, and newsfeed stopping content so quickly, and with just your imagination. And that's what makes marketing fun, in my opinion. When you can get creative, it's really like that's probably the hardest thing about marketing as well, is figuring out how can I be in the creative zone. It's not if life's stressful, if things are overwhelming, it can be really hard to go, okay, I want to sit down now and get creative and create something really cool. But I think this is a tool that I'll probably even just try to use just for a bit of therapy sometimes. I think it would be a really good way just to get in that creative zone. Even though it's the AI creating the image, it's still
It
your
is coming
brain
from your
creating.
imagination, though, Luke. Yeah,
Yeah,
look at this example here as an example. This was from a previous webinar. Someone asked for Clint Eastwood at age 20 as Roland the Gunslinger from The Dark Tower by Stephen King, style of Cedric Poiraverne. He actually wrote that on the webinar, and
wow.
I put that in, and this is what I got right here. I mean, it's crazy. That's from the imagination. So what you're saying absolutely is true. What you think of another person on the webinar wrote an eagle and bulldog battling over a football. I didn't think it would do that great, but it came out with it didn't even do an American football. It realized that football, of course, elsewhere involves soccer. And
Hmm.
there it is, the eagle and the bulldog fighting over that. So I thought that was crazy. This final one, I just want to leave you off with this one, Luke, is elephant in the desert standing on a rope bridge over a rushing stream. It knew the AI not to put it on a rope, but to put it on
Hmm.
something that was thin that could support the elephant, which I thought was funny. It
Yeah.
started reasoning why not to put an actual rope bridge there. I don't know.
No,
That's an example straight from the imagination of the audience.
yeah, exactly, and that's why it's just so smart, it's just insane how these tools and this tool there is like almost a weird type of brain there that's learning more and more and more the more it does things, and it's just things just get better and better and better, and it's just such a cool industry. I'm sure it's really exciting, for you to always be looking at, like, you could wake up tomorrow and there's something else that's been released that can just do something to an entire new level. And that's what's fun about the online marketing space as well, is when you can be a part of those opportunities when they first come out, especially when not many people are doing them, and you can get a lot of results fast. It's probably the biggest blessing in the curse and a curse in the internet marketing industry, that if because things change so much, it leaves so much opportunity for people all the time. And you guys being here watching this now or watching this on the replay, you have an amazing chance to be at the very forefront of this. Um, but as well, at the same time, sometimes things and trends change and they go in different directions, and that can also leave people with all their eggs in one basket in some cases, if they're just completely relying on that one method. But that's why I love what you said, Todd, about how when things change, you guys adapt and you always ensure your customers are on that right journey there. And again, it's probably why you've been one of, if not the top vendor and uh, performer on in this internet marketing community for many years. So I do appreciate your time here today, and I appreciate everyone as well. And I'll get this replay out ASAP and guys, the link is in the chat box, so it'll be on the page here as well. I know this launch has closed today. I'm sure that I can speak to Todd after this, and we can actually have this actual page set up, so the people in the replay can get this offer as well.
Yes.
And that would be really cool if we can just give some people
Well,
an
we heard
extra day
about
or
what
two.
happened. We heard about what happened with you. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So that'd be really awesome, and I really, really appreciate you doing that for me.
Okay, Luke, thank you for having us. And thank you, everybody, for being on. Thanks to my team for answering the questions so rapidly. I really appreciate it. Everybody that is still on right now, that includes Tony and Colleen, Zaneta and Hubert and Kaya. Whew. Yeah, I
It's a big
can't get
one.
through all the names, but Mike, Danny, thank you so much. And we will see you on the next one. And welcome to the Synthesis family of products. Thanks, Luke. Good luck with
Thank
everything.
you. Thank you
Okay.
guys so much. And Mike, you know what? You reminded me of that one there. You know what? Drop me your email in there. You can win the gift for today, because I like people that remind me of things like that. And so, Mike, you can win that one today. And thank you, Todd and Luann and the whole team here. All right, guys. We'll get the replay out soon.
Great.
And
Thank you,
bye.
Luke. Have a good one. Bye,
Thanks,
everyone.
guys.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye-bye.